On February 24th, 2026, the United States was deeply exhausted. The winter had been long, cold, and very hard. It felt like a time of continuous attack, a true season of siege which had stopped much of the country. People were tired and worried about the future. Daily life had become very difficult for millions. In just 1 month, the nation faced not one, but 2 huge weather events. These were historic storms, breaking many old records for snow and cold. Such powerful storms made many people question the strength of modern American life. Could our towns and cities really handle these strong natural events? What was happening to our normal weather? The latest big storm, called Winter Storm Hernando, hit the northeastern part of the country around February 22nd and 23rd. But this storm was not new for the country. America was already hurting. It was already sad. Before Hernando, another massive winter storm had come in late January. This first storm caused a lot of heavy snow and freezing temperatures. Places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Mississippi suffered for almost 10 days. Many businesses closed. People were still trying to fix things and rest when the new storm warnings for Hernando came. It was a relentless cycle. This report will explore these big events. We will look at why these powerful storms are happening right now.
We will also ask important questions. Can our roads, power systems, and homes stay strong against future storms? Are we ready for what might come next? We will find deeper answers in the scientific parts of this report. 2. The first big storm. Late January 2026 brought the first huge storm of the year. It was named Winter Storm Fern, but many people called it Snowmageddon. This storm was truly massive. It stretched for nearly 2,000 miles from Mexico all the way into Canada. To imagine this, think of a storm covering the distance from Los Angeles to Chicago all at once. This single huge weather system affected about 230 million people across the United States. That means it touched the lives of almost 2/3 of the entire country's population. It was not just a bad weather event, it was a national emergency for many. The storm's impact on people was devastating. By early February, 171 people had died because of Winter Storm Fern. These deaths happened in different ways. In Louisiana, some people died from carbon monoxide poisoning because they used heaters unsafely during power outages. In North Carolina and South Carolina, people died from the extreme cold. 3 elderly people in Pennsylvania passed away after having medical issues while shoveling snow. Also, a plane crashed in Maine during the harsh winter weather, killing everyone inside.
These tragic deaths often showed how vulnerable communities were when extreme weather met old or weak infrastructure. More than 1 million homes and businesses lost electricity, mainly in the southern states. The South often experiences less severe winter weather, so its power lines and other infrastructure were not built to withstand heavy ice. The ice storms were particularly damaging, causing trees and power lines to snap under the weight of the frozen precipitation. Almost 300,000 customers in Mississippi lost power because of the ice. Nashville, Tennessee saw its highest number of power outages ever, with 230,000 homes without electricity, experiencing its worst ice storm in decades. Life came to a halt for many. Over 10,000 flights across the United States were canceled or delayed. Many states issued travel bans, advising people to stay off the roads for safety.
The storm also caused huge economic problems. Experts estimated the total financial loss was more than $100 billion. This large sum included property damage, lost work time, and the costs of emergency response. It proved how much extreme weather could hurt the economy of entire regions. Even after the snow and ice stopped falling, the danger was not over. A very cold air mass from the Arctic then rushed in, making things much worse for those already suffering.
In some parts of the Midwest and Northeast, the wind made it feel like minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. In Chicago, the wind chill dropped to 36 degrees below zero. Experts warned that people could get frostbite in just 10 minutes outside. This invisible, extreme cold was now spreading, ready to finish what the first big storm had begun. The cold and the cost. After Winter Storm Fern's heavy snow, a very cold Arctic air mass covered the United States, making things much worse. In the Midwest, temperatures in Alliance, Nebraska dropped to minus 26 degrees Fahrenheit, a record low for that date. The extreme cold reached far south, with south-central Texas experiencing temperatures near 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind chills of minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit persisted across the Midwest and Northeast, making conditions highly dangerous. Chicago felt this deep cold. The city recorded wind chills of 36 degrees below zero, its lowest since 2019. Chicago public schools closed. The National Weather Service warned of frostbite in just 10 minutes of outdoor exposure. Over 300 patients were treated for cold-related injuries in Chicago emergency rooms. The intense cold also caused widespread infrastructure problems. Over 1 million customers lost electricity, mainly in the South, where a severe ice storm broke power lines and trees. The South's power grid was not built for such ice, leading to massive outages.
Mississippi saw almost 300,000 customers without power. Nashville, Tennessee, experienced its worst ice storm in decades with 230,000 outages. Many homes also suffered from frozen pipes, cutting off essential water supply. These conditions led to tragic human costs. In Louisiana, 4 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning due to power outages. An airplane crash in Maine during the storm killed 6 occupants. The financial impact was staggering. Economic losses from Winter Storm Fern were estimated to exceed $100 billion. This included property damage, lost work, travel disruptions, and emergency response costs. Such a huge loss made many question how the economy could sustain repeated hits of this size. But there was little time for reflection or recovery. Just as the nation started to clean up and calculate the full cost, meteorologists spotted something even more terrifying. A new, powerful storm was already forming off the coast, set to strike in February. 4. The second big storm. After the first big storm in January, people across the United States hoped for a calm break. But meteorologists were already watching something new form. From February 16th, they tracked a strong weather system moving from the Pacific Ocean. This system crossed the Rocky Mountains and then began to develop quickly off the coast of North Carolina by February 22nd.
What happened next was a special and scary event called a bomb cyclone. This means a storm gets much stronger very fast, sometimes in just one day. Its central pressure drops quickly, making it explode in power overnight. As this February cyclone grew, blizzard conditions began to appear along the coastline. Winds got very strong, and heavy snow started to fall in thick bands. Snowfall rates quickly reached 1 to 2 inches per hour, then 3 inches per hour on Long Island, making it impossible to keep up with plows. Because of this fast-growing power, rare blizzard warnings were issued. These warnings covered many important areas. All of Delaware, eastern Maryland, all of New Jersey, all of Connecticut, and New York City were under a blizzard warning. This was the first time New York City had such a warning in many years, not since 2017. Boston and all of Rhode Island also received these serious warnings. In total, more than 40 million people in the Northeast were told to prepare for the biggest winter storm in almost 10 years. Governors in 8 different states and mayors in several big cities declared states of emergency. This meant extra help was ready, but also that the danger was very real. The storm brought not only heavy snow, but also incredibly strong winds. In New York City, winds blew at 55 miles per hour. In Boston, they reached 75 miles per hour. On Long Island, wind gusts were even stronger, hitting 84 miles per hour.
This speed is almost like a small hurricane. On Cape Cod, Massachusetts, gusts reached 73 miles per hour. These hurricane-force winds, combined with the heavy, wet snow, made travel extremely dangerous. Major highways like Interstate 95 became almost impossible to use. Whiteout conditions meant drivers could not see the road in front of them. As the storm raged, the weight of the snow and the force of the winds began to damage power lines and trees. Across the Northeast, lights started to flicker and then fail. Almost 600,000 people lost electricity. New Jersey was hit the hardest, with more than 100,000 homes in the dark. Delaware had 67,000 outages, and Massachusetts had 39,000. Many knew that getting power back would take days because of the dangerous conditions. The second big storm had arrived, bringing darkness and chaos to the Northeast. 5. Life stops in the city. The Great Blizzard brought many new snow records. In Providence, Rhode Island, people saw 32.8 inches of snow. This was the most snow ever recorded there. On Long Island, 29.1 inches fell in Islip, also a new record. Newark, New Jersey had 27.1 inches, which was its second largest snowfall. Even New York City's Central Park measured 19.7 inches of snow. This made it the 9th biggest snowstorm for the park. In Warwick, Rhode Island, the snow was over 3 feet deep.
The snow fell very fast, sometimes 3 inches every hour on Long Island. Life in big cities stopped. Broadway, the famous theater area in New York City, closed its doors for 2 days. This was because of the storm. Schools in New York City also closed. Many businesses could not open. Buses and subways ran with big delays, or only some lines were open. Travel bans meant most cars could not be on the roads. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani told everyone that schools would open again on Tuesday. This showed how much the city had paused. Island places like Martha's Vineyard felt very alone. All boat trips to the island stopped. Food and fuel could not arrive. Grocery stores closed their doors. One store had not been closed all day for 40 years. Without power, these stores could not keep food cold. Many people on the island had no electricity. The storm was very hard for some people. Old people, those who were sick, and people with no homes faced great danger. They needed warmth and food. The government opened places called warming centers. These were safe places for people who lost power and could not heat their homes. Groups like Direct Relief helped. They gave medicines and other important things to health centers in many states. These events made people wonder, how can our modern cities, which need power and transport so much, work when nature simply shuts them down? As people struggled with the snow and cold, another storm began.
This one was not of snow, but of words. In Washington, D.C., and on social media, people started to argue. They talked about why this terrible weather was happening. The question was not about the snow anymore, but about who was right and who was wrong. 6. Why is this happening? Many people ask why these big snowstorms are happening. It may seem strange that a warming planet can bring more snow, but scientists say there are clear reasons for this. One important reason is something called the polar vortex. This is a large area of very cold air that spins high above the North Pole. Normally, it stays in a tight circle, keeping the cold air up north. But sometimes this circle weakens or stretches out of shape. When this happens, parts of the cold air can spill south, bringing freezing temperatures to countries like the United States. This is what happened in early 2026. A strong push of Arctic air came south, meeting warmer, wetter air, which is a perfect recipe for a big storm. Another factor is called Arctic amplification. The Arctic region is warming much faster than the rest of the world. This is because when sea ice melts, the darker ocean water underneath takes in more heat from the sun. This warming in the Arctic changes the pattern of the jet stream. The jet stream is a fast current of air that moves high above the Earth and guides weather systems. It usually flows in a straight path, but with Arctic warming, it can become more wobbly.
These big wobbles can allow cold air from the Arctic to reach southern areas. Also, a warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture. When the air is warmer, it can pick up more water from the oceans. Our oceans are also warmer now. This extra moisture in the air means that when conditions are right for snow, there is more water available to fall as snow, sleet, or freezing rain. So, while overall winters might be getting warmer, the storms that do happen can be much more intense and drop more snow. This is the paradox. Global warming can lead to record-breaking snowstorms. Scientists are still working to understand all the changes in our weather. For example, the exact way the jet stream is changing and how much it is linked to climate change is a topic they continue to study. This shows that climate science is always learning and growing. 7. Politics and money. During the January storm, President Trump posted on social media. He questioned why people were talking about global warming when the weather was so cold. This message quickly started a big debate online. Many people shared different ideas about the changing weather. However, scientists quickly explained the complex situation. Jennifer Francis, an atmospheric scientist, pointed out that a warmer atmosphere holds more water, so even with cold air, more moisture could lead to much heavier snowstorms. This meant cold weather did not prove global warming had stopped.
Globally, January 2026 was actually the 5th warmest January ever recorded, according to the Copernicus Climate Change Service. Climate experts stated that the climate system could bring both extreme cold in one place and unusual heat in another at the same time. These severe storms also highlighted issues with government funding.
The Trump administration had made important cuts to several agencies. These included FEMA, which is responsible for helping people and communities during disasters. There were also cuts to scientific groups like the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Additionally, NASA's Earth Science programs and the National Science Foundation, which supports climate research at universities, saw budget reductions. While the National Weather Service was allowed to fill some empty positions, these overall cuts limited the country's ability to predict and prepare for future extreme weather. Accurate weather predictions and a good understanding of climate science are vital for keeping society safe. This knowledge affects how cities are built, how transportation systems are planned, and how communities prepare for emergencies. Scientists are always working to improve forecasts, but their efforts depend heavily on consistent support and funding. As politicians argued about what caused the storms and how to respond, the country's roads, power lines, and other critical infrastructure remained dangerously exposed.
The important question of how to pay for and properly prepare for the next inevitable event was still without a clear answer. 8. What comes next? The early months of 2026 brought a harsh truth to the United States. 2 very big winter storms, one in January and another in February, caused huge problems. These monster storms broke many records for snow and cold across wide areas. They paralyzed cities and damaged important structures like power lines and roads. The nation was tired and hurt, showing it was not fully ready for such strong weather events. The country's power grid struggled greatly under the pressure. During the first storm, over 1 million people lost electricity, especially in the south, where heavy ice brought down power lines and trees. This caused widespread suffering. In the northeast, the second storm's strong hurricane-force winds caused nearly 600,000 more outages. Getting power back often took many days, making life very difficult for families and businesses. This highlighted that our power systems are vulnerable and need to be much stronger to face future challenges. Experts now understand that the weather is becoming more unpredictable and intense. This means the idea of normal weather with steady seasons is changing. We can expect more sudden and powerful storms, even if overall winters get warmer.
Samantha Burgess from the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts pointed out that being ready and adapting to these increasing extreme events is key for society. This is the new, more volatile reality we must accept. Everyone has a role in getting ready. Governments at all levels, federal, state, and local, must invest in better ways to predict weather. They need to build stronger infrastructure that can handle extreme cold, heavy snow, and strong winds. Creating clear emergency plans and providing good public communication are also very important, as Celeste Saulo, the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization, emphasized. Individuals also need to prepare. Having emergency supplies at home, knowing about local weather warnings, and checking on older or vulnerable neighbors are simple but critical steps for community resilience. The storms of 2026 were a clear warning. They showed America that we need to learn, grow stronger, and adapt to what comes next. What steps will you take in your home and community to be ready for the unexpected weather that may come next?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world.